Hello and welcome to another episode of the Foot Geeks. My name is CJ and today we'll be talking about plantar fasciitis, which is a nagging pain that you may experience first thing in the morning when you get out of bed. Now, what exactly is plantar fasciitis? Plantar fasciitis is a stretching off the plantar fascia, which is a fibrous tissue that spans the bottom of a foot. It really kind of spans the entire body, so it kind of runs from the back of the head all the way down to your feet, but in many cases it gets inflamed in this particular area right here, which is on the inner side of the arch, and in some cases also the heel. Now, when you do experience that discomfort, again, the pain is usually more severe first thing in the morning, or when you're sitting down for a while and you get up from a relaxed kind of sitting position, and now you take your first steps. Those steps usually are very painful. The pain subsides a little bit as you do more walking, and then again at the end of the day, if you spend a lot of time on your feet, you may have discomfort as well. Now, what are the causes? The most common causes for plantar fasciitis are, number one, potentially a sudden weight gain. We see a lot of clients with plantar fasciitis that are pregnant, and as a result, due to the weight gain with the baby, it can sometimes lead to plantar fasciitis. And in certain cases, we also see that when you have an increase in your level of activity. So if you haven't done sports for a while and now you're going on a 5-kilometer, 10-kilometer run or something like that, then you may end up with issues such as plantar fasciitis as well. The other reason that we see plantar fasciitis is a lot because many clients that we see that have plantar fasciitis do have flat feet. Now, flat feet doesn't necessarily mean that they are as flat as this foot per se, but when the client stands up, this is what happens to the foot. It will flatten out, which stretches the plantar fascia, and as a result, you end up with more pressure in the arch. And what we're trying to obviously prevent in terms of solutions, we're trying to, number one, loosen up the tissue. And we can do that with a massage ball. So these are some of the things you can do at home right away. Now, you can do that with a massage ball such as this, which is a foot Rubz. It's a little rubbery ball with little pricks on the end that, well, not sharp, so they won't hurt, but they've got little knobs on the end that are going to get into the soft tissue a little bit more. But you can also use a tennis ball or any other ball that you have at home and really just gently roll that through the arch area, which is kind of from behind the ball of the foot and the heel, just kind of right through here. Roll that for maybe 10 to 20 minutes a day to help loosen up the fascia, break up the tissue a little bit, get it to regenerate itself, increase the blood flow there to help help it heal. And that's a great thing that you can do right away at home. Now, if you do have slippers at home, if they have arch support, preferably, that's even better. But if you have a slipper at home, even just with some extra cushioning, especially if you have hardwood floors or tile floors at home, I really recommend putting those on to help reduce some of the impact on the heel bone when you're walking around the house, and that will make a huge difference in terms of the initial pain and discomfort. And the other thing you want to do is stretch your feet. You can stretch your toes upward, and that's just kind of taking your foot, stretching the toes upward so that you can stretch the fascia before you get out of bed. That really helps reduce some of the initial pain that you get first thing in the morning. And calf stretches as well. So if you have a calf muscle in the back, stretching the foot just upwards like this to help loosen up the calf muscles can also really help improve the symptoms of plantar fasciitis when you have them. Now, what are the things that you can do on top of that? Those are some more or less home remedies you can do right now. And then if you continue to have issues, if you have a really low arch and you know that it's flattening out, what we really want to suggest, okay, let's try some arch support. Right? Now we want to kind of fill in that gap between the floor and the foot, help raise up the arch so that it doesn't stretch out as much when you're walking. Now you can do that with an off-the-shelf device. In some cases you may need something a little bit more custom made to make sure that it fits properly into under the foot, especially if you have a really low arch or a really high arch. In some cases the off-the-shelf variety may not be sufficient, or it may be too much support, which can cause more pressure on the tissue, which can make it uncomfortable. And that's one way you can help reduce some of the discomfort of plantar fasciitis. The other thing, again, it comes down to wearing slippers, which is a lot of cush. I really like the UFOs. We have a lot of clients that really love this particular product because it's really spongy. It's got good arch support, and that really helps to reduce some of the initial discomforts from plantar fasciitis. And the other thing I can recommend is rocker-soled shoes. So if you have a plantar fasciitis, one of the things that we find is a big problem is because as you're stepping forward and you're flexing your toes, upward, obviously, the problem is that you're causing a stretch of the plantar fascia. And what you want to do with a rocker sole profile, like this one is a really stiff shoe, as you can see, I can't really bend it on the front. And what it does, it rolls forward. It allows your toes to move forward without having to flex them. As a result, there's less strain on a plantar fascia. So rocker soled shoes like the Hoka, for example, are fantastic for plantar fasciitis as well, to help reduce some of the discomfort. If you haven't changed your shoes for a while, let's say you have a running pair of shoes that you've had for 8 to 12 months and you haven't changed that and you've used it a lot, change that. Because the thing is that if the midsole has broken down, you may not notice it. The rubber on the bottom may still look awesome, but at the same time, it's not providing you the stability and the support through the middle of the foot, which causes your arches to drop more, stretching the plantar fascia, causing it to be painful. We also got a lot of success with things like Joya shoes. Again, a very spongy shoe, feels awesome when you put it on because it really takes the impact away, especially that initial impact as you're stepping down on the heel. And these are great products that you can look for in your local store, or obviously at Foot Solutions, to help reduce some of the discomforts that you're experiencing on the foot itself. Now, if you want to stretch your feet, that's great. If you don't like stretching and you find it's too much of a hassle, you can use these stretch up socks here as well. Those are what we call more or less kind of like a night splint, which helps to stretch your toes upwards when you're sleeping, therefore helping again to reduce some of the discomfort first thing in the morning. And that's really an important part, that if you feel that stretching is too much work or you don't have the time for it, that may be one way to stretch your toes without actually having to go out there and doing it yourself, because you can do that while you're sleeping. Now, if you have any questions or comments, there's other products that you really love that you've used for plantar fasciitis, please post them below. Subscribe to us because we've got lots of new material coming, so please subscribe to our channel. And if you're looking for any of these products and you would like to purchase them, we do have a link below as well, so check out those links. Have an excellent day.